Hey guys, welcome back to Not Enough Projects. Today we have some daily driver maintenance and, well, troubleshooting really. This is a 2012 Volvo S60 T5, I believe. I bought this for, I think it was like $1,200 or something, with a failed timing belt. The timing belt had snapped and obviously all the valves had bent. So long story short, the head was reworked and I put it back on. This thing's got a pretty cool motor in it. It's a inline 5 with a turbo. And really, it's pretty quick for what it is. It's really a pretty fun car to drive. I mean, it's not the sportiest car, but, you know, it gets out of its own way pretty good. I don't drive this car very often, but I've been told it has symptoms that tell me it's misfiring. So, down on power, running rough, shaking. So, you know, classic misfire symptoms. So we're going to see if it's going to do it for us. Answer is no. It is running nice and smooth right now. There's no check engine light. So this thing's running pretty smooth. It's got a little bit of a shake, but it's an inline 5, so it always does. Although I am noticing, I hear a little squeak. If you hear that, that might be an idler or something, and it looks like the belt is starting to shred, so that's awesome. Something I'm gonna have to look at. Great, so we're gonna be dealing with an intermittent issue, obviously. But from the way it was described to me, it was a pretty violent shaking. But they said the check engine light never came on, so that's a little bit strange. Usually these later models are more than smart enough to figure out when there's a dead miss. Alright, I went ahead and pulled codes. There's no fault code stored, current, pending, or historic. So how about we take it out on a quick little drive and see if we can replicate the issue. Okay, so the check engine light blinks under full throttle, which indicates obviously a misfire, but it's running smooth right now. Check engine light is still blinking though, and it turned off. Check engine light blinked briefly there, then it stopped. I'm gonna slow back down again, try it. Didn't do it that time. Let's see if that ended up storing any codes. Alright, bingo, it's misfiring right now. Probably not very obvious on camera, but it's shaking. Not horribly, but it is shaking. Okay, so there is a stored pending fault for cylinder 1 misfire. I'm really surprised the check engine light's not on right now because it feels like a dead miss. Now, it doesn't feel as bad as if it were, say, a 4-cylinder, because this is a 5-cylinder, so one of the cylinders missing impacts it less balance-wise. Obviously, though, still affects it. Here you go, you can see the engine jumping. Okay, so now we're gonna pull cylinder 1 coil harness. I gotta go grab a pick. Alright, here we go. No change. See? No change. So cylinder 1 is a dead miss. I'm really surprised the check engine light's not on for that, but hey, whatever. Alright, let's pull cylinder 2, and this should cause a pretty drastic change. Well, that's a hard one to get to. Let's pull 3. See? Running quite a bit worse. That probably threw a check engine light. No? Okay. Surprising. You can see big difference there. But again, one, no difference. Let's try two actually, just for kicks. See? Watch me not be able to get it back in. Go on. There we go. Alright, so I'm pretty confident we're dealing with the cylinder 1 issue. Spark probably, most likely. So, let's shut her down. And I think I do have an extra coil we can give a try. And we'll check the plug as well. Alright, so we gotta get this timing belt cover out of the way. Takes a T30. And yeah, I'm sure you guys see the oil up top. That's probably leaking out of the breather hose up there. I have it clamped with a zip tie right now because if I remember right, the factory uses a non-removable permanent type clamp. So I just need to get something with a little bit more clamping force on there. Obviously this stuff is all very hot. Alright, now we have full access. That could be our culprit. You guys see the oil in there? Oh, yep. We have a leaking valve cover, of course. Awesome. This thing was not rebuilt very long ago, and this is weird, but the sealant that the manual called for is this weird blue, like toothpaste looking stuff that doesn't harden. It stays as a liquid. Maybe you can see it in there. I was kind of skeptical of it, but I used it because that's what it called for. So I don't know if I used it improperly or what, but yeah, it's leaking. So that is awesome. That could be our issue there. This thing does burn oil pretty quickly, like all of the 2012 Volvos with this motor. It's a really well-known issue. So also a carboned up spark plug could be contributing to this, just from burning oil. So we can pop the plug out and check, but first I'm going to want to soak up most of that oil, all that I can get at least. It's obviously got carbon buildup on it from burning oil. However, it looks like it's been cleaning on the ground strap at least. It could do with a new set of plugs, I'm sure. Oop. That wetness is from the oil in the plug well. Okay, well, let's use the rag and clean up the plug well as best we can. Again. Okay, well, I say let's put the other coil in, give it a go, see if this fixed our issue, and then we can go from there. We're gonna leave the plug alone for now, just so that we're changing only one thing at a time. Yeah, hopefully you guys can see the ground strap is kind of getting cleaned from the heat, like it's supposed to. I mean, obviously there's a lot of buildup, but alright, so I'm just going to get the plug back in and put in our replacement coil. This is just a junkyard one I have laying around. I had to pick up a couple because I think one or two of the coils went bad from sitting or something when we first started up this car. So I've had to replace them before. So we'll give this one a go. Alright, I'm going to leave the upper cover off just in case we got to do any more monkeying around in there. So I'm going to go take this for a quick drive, see if we have the same symptoms. And if anything happens, I'll let you guys know. Okay, so we're back at a solid dead miss, cylinder 1 misfire. I pulled the code and we have a set check engine light. So either the plug is too fouled up to be giving reliable spark, or any spark at all with this dead miss, or we have some other kind of issue going on here. So I'm gonna drive back and we'll take another look. All right, you can see the motor clearly misfiring. We do have a code set this time. So how about we swap number 1 spark plug with number 2, and we can also compare the look of the two. If that solves it, then we're just gonna need to throw another set of plugs in this thing, because otherwise we're gonna need to tear it back down and, you know, do a ring service. Okay, here's number 1 and here's number 2. Number 2 is clearly burning quite a bit less oil than number 1. It's a little wet because there was also a small amount of oil in the plug well. But you can see there's some buildup, but not nearly as much as cylinder number 1. So I'm putting my money on a fouled plug. So it would be a good idea to just swap them out now, but I'm gonna swap these two and see if the misfire follows the spark plug. Okay, plugs are switched. We are clearly misfiring. We still have to shake. Check engine light is not on yet. I'm gonna drive it for just a second, see if it'll come on and tell us which cylinder. If not, we'll do the old unplug the coil trick and see what happens. It doesn't want to seem to throw a code, so we will pop the, oh, that's, I guess I just needed to say that because now it threw a code. So I'm gonna pull that and I'll let you guys know what it says. Okay, so it's thrown a P0300 and a P0301, so it's still cylinder 1 misfire, but this time also a random cylinder misfire. So the ECM could be misreporting a cylinder 2 misfire as that, I don't know. But we did have a change. We didn't have the random misfire before. So that's kind of indicating to me that we need to put a new set of plugs in this, which it needs anyways. You can see number 1's fouled up, or the one that was in number 1 is fouled up. So we'll do that and we'll see if we see any kind of improvement. If not, then we're gonna need to do some more digging into cylinder number 1. Alright, I've got our new plugs. Let's go ahead and swap them out and see if it helps our issue at all. We're gonna need a towel to clean up cylinder 3. Alrighty, here's what we're working with. That one's wet. Number 3 is wet just because of the valve cover leak. See heavy deposits on number 1, number 5, number 3, number 4, number 2 is not bad. So we'll switch them out. I'm sure these are not helping. Looks like these are the exact same plugs as what we have in there. Oh wait, no, these are XPs, these are APs. Maybe these were platinum and these were iridium, I don't remember. You can see the electrode is different. Hopefully you can see it. I'm gonna go grab some Never Sees. Not a bad idea to check the gap when you're installing these. These are pre-gapped, so I'm just inspecting them visually, making sure they're all fairly similar to each other. Alright, new plugs are in, so it's time to do a little bit of testing on her and see how she does. Okay, so we are still misfiring, and I cleared the codes just so that, you know, see if they come back, and we have a pending cylinder 1 misfire still ongoing. We are going to need to do a little bit more digging. So we're now mildly confident that our spark is good. I guess it's possible our replacement coil is also faulty, but that seems unlikely. So let's check our fuel. I do feel cylinder number 1, the injector is clicking away. I just feel it in my finger. So we know the injector is at least firing. It's still possible there's some kind of issue there, however unlikely. So let's check our coil again. Let's swap it out for the other one, see if there's any change at all. If there is, then we'll know there's possibly something there. If there's no change, then we'll know we need to look elsewhere. Alright, coil is swapped out. No misfire. Very smooth. Interesting. Okay, just to be sure, let's swap it one more time and see. I've got the junkyard coil back in. That red marking is their warranty mark. Feels like it's misfiring. That's wacky. So, I guess, I mean, obviously this junkyard coil is faulty, but now we have to decide whether our previous misfire under acceleration, and it was doing this kind of dead miss, was due to the coil, the original coil. So it is possible that we have two faulty coils that we were swapping between each other, with the factory one being intermittently faulty and this one being continually faulty. So let's swap the factory one back in and see if we can get it to replicate the dead miss again. Alright, the original factory coil's in. Nice smooth idle. Revs really easy, like we would hope. So I'm going to go drive it, see if I can get it to go back into that miss like we did originally. If I can, I'll bring you guys in and see what's going on. Guys, I've been driving around for a while, flooring it, you know, just driving like an idiot basically, trying to get it to misfire. And if you remember back before, under heavy acceleration, once it got up around 5,000, it would start misfiring and blink the check engine light. I can hold it all the way up to 6,500 and it does nothing. So I think for now we're gonna call it good. It must have been some weird, I mean, thing of chance where basically the spark plugs were bad, or fouled really. They were causing a misfire, especially under high cylinder pressure like you would have up at 5,000 RPM. And switching out the coil was just a red herring, because the junkyard coil is defective, obviously, because it runs fine on the OEM coil. The other one's OEM as well, but it must have gone bad with age or something, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, we're gonna drive it around a little bit. If there ends up being an issue, I'll bring you guys back and let you know. If not, I think we'll call it here and call it fixed. Hopefully, if this did fix it, somebody else had this issue. I think it's related to the oil burning problem that these 2012 Volvos have, and hopefully this will help somebody else solve their issue. So I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.